Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. My name is Troy, and in this series, I spend hours doing research to find the hidden gems of the dividend world so you don't have to. This week, there were 72 stocks that had an ex-dividend date between April 25th and May 2nd of 2025. 30 of those stocks showed that they can not only pay, but grow their dividend for at least 5 consecutive years, and only 12 of those stocks were able to make the risk of investing into individual stocks worth it by also outperforming the S&P 500 over a long period of time. I then took those 12 stocks and picked my 5 favorites to share with you guys today. These videos go live right here on my channel every single Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time and are kind of important that you watch when they drop, because if you don't, you could find yourself missing out on those sweet, sweet dividends. That's simply because every single stock you guys see in today's video has an ex-dividend date of this coming week, which simply put is the date you must own the stock before in order to get the next dividend from that company. If you're ready to dive into this week's list, do me a favor and tap on that like button. And let's kick things off with number 5, which is NRG Energy, stock ticker NRG. Other than that name being super annoying to say, this is the very first time I've ever had to say it right here on my channel, so let's go ahead and learn more about this company. NRG is a quarterly payer in the utility sector, paying $1.76 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.8%. NRG has been paying and growing its dividend over the last 6 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 7.86%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 33.65%, and a payout ratio at just 21.61%, which is not common for utility companies. At the time of recording, NRG was trading 16.54% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of May 1st with a payout date of May 15th. And looking at this chart, you'll be able to see a $10,000 lump sum investment into this stock versus the S&P 500 over a long period of time. You guys can see that NRG would have turned that $10,000 into $47,536.85, which did outperform the S&P 500 by $17,703.93 over the past 10 years. Next up, and coming in at number 4 on this week's list, is Casey's General Stores, stock ticker CASY. Including today's video, this is now the 6th time I've spoken about this stock right here on my channel, and if you go way back to episode 20, which was the first time I talked about it, or October 28th of 2022, also known as my birthday, Casey is averaging nearly 33% annual returns since that first mention. So let's go ahead and see what kind of numbers lead to that kind of performance with this right here. Casey's is a quarterly payer in the consumer staples sector, paying $2 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of just 0.43%. Casey's has been paying and growing this dividend over the last 26 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 11.84%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 9.08%, and it's super sustainable because they have a payout ratio sitting at just 11.22%. Now, despite the market being super down recently, Casey's is actually holding pat because they're only 1.88% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of May 1st with a payout date of May 15th, and looking at their chart over the past 10 years, they would have grown that $10,000 into $56,612.74, which outperformed the S&P 500 by $26,779.82. Next up, coming in at number 3, aka the first one on the podium, is Lennox International, stock ticker LII. Including today's video, this is now the 4th time I've spoken about this stock right here on my channel, including 2 selections in a row. And if you go way back to episode 11, which was the first time I talked about it, or August 26th of 2022, LII is outperforming the S&P 500 by nearly 4 times since that first mention. So let's dive into this one right here. Lennox International is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying $4.60 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.83%. Lennox International has been paying and growing this dividend over the last 16 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 8%. A 5-year dividend growth rate of 8%, and a payout ratio at 18.03%. At the time of recording, Lennox International was trading 18.51% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of April 30th with a payout date of May 15th, and their chart shows you that that $10,000 investment would have been grown into $58,594.97, which outperforms the S&P 500 in the same time frame by $28,762.05. Before we get to the rest of the list, first I want to say thank you guys so much for using the comment section production in last week's video, let's see if we can keep it up this week. I want to know what you guys think of this week's list, if you own any of the stocks on this week's list, and I didn't get any knock-knock jokes last week, so I want some knock-knock jokes down below. So use that comment section and let me know. But now, let's get to number 2. Next up on this week's list, getting the silver medal, coming in at number 2, is Carrier Global, stock ticker CARR. With mention in today's video, this is the very first time I'm ever talking about this stock in this series, so let's go ahead and learn more about this one. Carrier Global is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying 90 cents per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.5%. Carrier Global has been paying and growing its dividend for the last 6 years, and despite that, their 3-year dividend growth rate sits at 15.95%, and would you believe I could not find a 5-year dividend growth rate? I checked multiple sites, and they're just like, yep, 6 years, don't have a 5-year dividend growth rate. I don't know. Anyway, payout ratio sits at just 26.29%. At the time of recording, Carrier Global was trading 28.11% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of May 2nd with a payout date of May 22nd, and looking at their chart, notice this one's only 5.08 years worth of history, a little bit over 5 years. But yet, they would have turned a single $10,000 investment just 5 years ago into $53,195.60, which outperformed the S&P 500 by $29,500.92 in the last 5 years. And here it is, the stock you guys must know about going into next week. Coming in at number 1 on this week's list is one of my personal favorite stocks, and that's Costco, stock ticker COST. Including today's video, this is now the 9th time I've spoken about this stock right here on my channel, including 7 selections in a row. And if you go way back to episode 19, which was the first time I talked about it, or October 21st of 2022, Costco is embarrassing the S&P 500 since that first mention. And I personally have more than $14,000 invested into this one, so let me show you why I like this one so much with this right here. Costco is a quarterly payer in the consumer staples sector, paying $5.20 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of just 0.52%. Costco has been paying and growing its dividend over the last 21 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 13.67%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 12.29%, and a payout ratio that makes it sustainable at just 26.11%. Now, despite the market downturn, Costco is only down 7.77% off of its 52-week high at the time of recording. They have an ex-dividend date of May 2nd with a payout date of May 16th. And back to a 10-year time frame, you can see that $10,000 investment into Costco would have grown into $81,016.59, which outperformed the S&P 500 by a barely noticeable $51,183.67. With that being said, if you guys didn't take my advice earlier in the video and watch this video as soon as it dropped, there's a chance that you're watching it Friday after the market closed, over the weekend, or even the following week, which means there's a big chance that you guys missed the ex-dividend date for the stocks in this week's video. They all pay quarterly, which means you now need to wait 3 long months before you get paid from any of these companies, and we all know what Sweet Brown says.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
With that being said, you 100% missed every ex-dividend date in last week's video, but if you're still in the market for 5 more high-quality dividend stocks and you haven't seen it yet, you can check that out right here. But until next time, see ya.